Today we're going to continue our study of Mesopotamia with Chapter 3, Lesson 3, Sumerian Achievements. The big idea for today is the Sumerians made many advances that helped their society develop. And the main ideas: the Sumerians invented the world's first writing system, advances and innovations changed Sumerian lives, and many types of art developed in Sumer. You're going to come back and watch this video. So our first idea. The Sumerians invented the world's first writing system, and this was called cuneiform. The cuneiform system involved the use of sharp tools called styluses, and you've probably used a stylus before. They were the first to use cuneiform to keep business records, so that's mainly what they created it for. The Sumerians also used their writing skills to write books about history, poems, and math. So cuneiform is the world's first writing system that was developed. Cuneiform symbols could represent syllables. Before cuneiform, they had pictographs, which only represented objects. The Sumerians did not write on paper like we do. They wrote on clay tablets, and as I mentioned before, they used a stylus. So the scribes were the writers, and that's just what they called them, were scribes. They kept track of items that people traded, and they wrote down important government records. Scribes were pretty much the only people that can move up in the social class. Remember our social hierarchy that we discussed in the last lesson. So normally if you were born into that class, you pretty much stay in that class. But if you were really good with cuneiform and your writing, you could become a scribe and possibly move up. They also wrote works of literature, stories, proverbs, and songs. They wrote poems about their many gods and military victories. And they created epics, like the Epic of Gilgamesh that you watched yesterday, which were long poems that tell about the stories of heroes. Here's an example of cuneiform. And you can see how it changed from 3300 BC to 1800 BC. Because, of course, in BC, or the new BCE, we're counting down to 0. So we're going backwards. You have to kind of flip that switch in your brain. All right, they had many advances and inventions that changed Sumerian lives. The development of the wheel, of course, was major. It was used for carts and wagons, and also the potter's wheel to make pottery. The plow increased farm production, so now they can produce even more food, which is a good thing. They even had sewers under their city streets. So you don't like to think about it, but they had somewhere for their waste to go when they used the bathroom. Math and science, they had a number system that was based on 60. I think that would be rather difficult for us to learn. And then they named animals, plants, and minerals. They also used medicines for healing, and they began to catalog, keep a record of, basically, their medical knowledge. So this shows you just a few of the Sumerian achievements, one of which would be artistic achievements. They made beautiful works of gold, wood, and stone. This is called a cylinder, and it served as a seal. So the cylinder seal were used to basically sign their name, leave their mark. This belongs to. So everybody kind of had their own cylinder seal. This is a stringed musical instrument called a lyre, L-Y-R-E. The Sumerians were the first people in Mesopotamia to build large temples, and they called their temples ziggurats or ziggurats. And the gold dagger that you see here was found in a royal tomb. The bull's head is also made of gold and silver. You'll come back and watch this video. So we just talked about a few of these. Architecture, the rulers lived in large palaces, but normal day Sumerians lived in houses with rooms around a small courtyard. If you were ever in the old Seymour Intermediate School, there was a courtyard in the middle of the school. They used mud bricks as the main building blocks for their houses because that's what they had. And then we just saw the ziggurat, which was a pyramid-shaped temple, and it towered and rose above the city. Sculptors produced many statues of their gods, of course, for the temples. Jewelry was a popular item made from imported gold, silver, and gems. You saw the engraved cylinder seals. They would depict battle scenes, show ownership, as we discussed, and they were typically very highly decorative. So this is the end of Lesson 3. On the next slide, which will be tomorrow, you will watch the video for Bill Nye Farming. If for some reason it won't play, come back and click here. I'll go ahead and show you where it is. And then our next lesson will be 3.4, and we'll talk about the latter peoples of the Fertile Crescent.